Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effy and today we are running through the makeup haul that started this week and letting you know my thoughts on everything now that I've tested the majority of it. I will also run through the things that I haven't tested and just sort of swatch them maybe if I can, see what I think about them, give you my sort of initial thoughts on those. I look terrible, the lighting is terrible. That's because I'm filming this video at 5:30 on the Wednesday before it goes up on the Friday. What it is, I feel like now that I have the two sets of shelves behind me, if I'm not sat high enough up, it's really obvious that I'm not. So I keep having to put my chair super high up. But anyway, yeah, we're just going to be doing super quick fire opinions, and then I'm also going to give my opinion on Makeup Revolution as a brand at the end, and then I'm going to go and edit this, so hopefully it is up for Friday. Fingers crossed. If that sounds like something that would interest you, then please do just keep on watching. If you like my video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I normally put up 2 videos a week. They are always makeup related. However, this week I'm putting up a video every day, Monday through to Saturday, and they're all related to Makeup Revolution. Essentially, I went onto the Makeup Revolution website, bought £250 worth of product, and I've spent the entire week testing it, and now I'm giving you my opinion on it. And tomorrow's video will be giving you opinion on all the Makeup Revolution products I already had in my collection. So yeah, let's get on with it. I don't want this to be too long. I don't want you to have to deal with the terrible lighting for too long. I also don't want it to get any darker outside. So let's just get on with it. Okay, I'm going to start with the things that I've already tested, and then we'll go through the things that I didn't get time to test this week. So I'm going to try and work through this logically. Primer. The Revolution Pro Miracle Cream. I actually quite like this. I think it's nice, hydrating, good on the skin. I don't really have an opinion on whether it does much in terms of making your makeup look better or last longer, but I will say having hydrated skin will help your makeup look nicer. So I like this, and I would repurchase it if I ran out of it. I think that's what I'm going to do throughout the entire video. I will either state if I would repurchase it or if I wouldn't, or for things like blush and highlight and things like that, if it comes in other colours essentially, whether or not I would pick it up in another colour, because that sort of tells you whether or not I like the formula. The other 2 primers that I tried was the Power Fix Primer by Relove by Revolution and the Pore Vanish Primer by Relove by Revolution. I quite liked both of these. I did have issues on my second day, which is where I tested this one, with my foundation and primer and my skin just not looking very good. I'm not going to blame the primers. I actually quite liked both of these. Relove by Revolution is the cheapest Revolution brand, and I actually would repurchase both of them. I didn't feel bad using them. My skin didn't look bad when I used them. I just think I need to test them out with other foundations. Moving on to foundations. We started the week with the IRL Filter Long Wear foundation in F3. I actually quite liked this one. I think this one was quite nice. I will say, I think on the whole, after this week, my opinion on Makeup Revolution foundations isn't that good. I think in the past I've used the Conceal and Define and the Revolution Pro Foundation drops, and I really like both of those. But I think just on the whole, I tried 3 foundations this week. I'm not in love with any of them. None of them have become my new favourites. They've not even become my favourite Revolution foundations. So I like this and I will wear it. It's just not a favourite. I wouldn't repurchase it. Even though I like it and I'll continue using it, I won't repurchase it when it's empty. The Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate in F3, like I said, I had issues. This was my day 2 foundation. It just didn't sit well. I am going to try it again with other primers and see if that helps. But as it stands right now, I'm not a fan of this because I do think this was the problem more than the primer. But like I said, I need to test it out a bit more, see how I feel about it. And then the final foundation I tried was just a tester, and this is the other shades that was sent. It's the Silk Finish, something like that, foundation. I actually quite liked it. Again, it's not a favourite, it's not going to become my new favourite. I wish it had a bit more pigment to it, a bit more coverage. But I think if you are looking for an everyday skin tint, this is actually quite a good one. And again, I wouldn't repurchase it because I just think I'd rather test a new foundation than repurchase any of these. And if I were to repurchase a Revolution foundation, I would go for the Conceal and Define or the foundation drops, even though I don't think they do the foundation drops. shops anymore, which is very sad. But anyway, you get the idea. I wouldn't repurchase any of these, although I might actually purchase a full size of this one because I only have the tester, so maybe. I missed a primer. The Revolution Balm something, it doesn't have the name written on it. That's something that really annoyed me this entire week. So many Makeup Revolution products don't have the name of the product actually written on the packaging. So you throw away the box or you take off the wrapper and then you have no idea what it's called. And I don't like that. That's really frustrated me this entire week. But I think this is the Balm Primer or something like that. I like this. It's not going to replace the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer for me. I wouldn't repurchase it because I would repurchase the e.l.f. one. It's nice, it works well, my skin felt nice. But yeah, it's fine. And I will use it and I'll probably finish it up, to be fair, because I do like these sort of primers. It's just not what I was expecting, and it's so thin and tiny you barely get any product. Concealers. My day one concealer was the Revolution Pro concealer in C1. I actually quite liked this. I think it was very nice, very hydrating under the eyes, not too heavy, not too drying, not too thick. I liked it. I would use it again. Would I repurchase it? I'm very picky when it comes to concealers. Yeah, I think I would. I think I would repurchase this, yeah. Day two was the Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer in the shade Light. I surprisingly liked this, but it's the wrong shade for me. If this is their lightest shade, which I'm pretty sure it is because it's the shade Light, it's not light enough. It was too warm as well. Like I said in my video that I would use this as a colour corrector. It felt nice, it was very thin, very smoothing, looked really nice under my eyes. But I just wish it was a touch lighter. It's just too dark for me. So I wouldn't repurchase this, but if they did it in a lighter shade at some point in the future, I would repurchase it, yes. Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Concealer. This wasn't really a first impressions because I have had this concealer before and I do like it. It's really thin, good formula, good enough coverage, it spreads out really easily, it's not too heavy under your eyes or anything like that. I really do like this and I would repurchase it because this is a repurchase already. I'm going to do all of the cream blushes. On day one we started with the I Heart Revolution Watermelon Blusher in the shade Pop, I think this was called. Yes. I really liked this. I would repurchase this. I'm not a fan of the packaging. I don't like having to like squeeze it onto the back of my hand because I'm not going to squeeze it onto my face. But yeah, I would repurchase this in other colours. I just don't know if there would be any other colours that would interest me. Day two was the Fast Base Blush in the shade Blush. I actually really liked this. I would pick this up in another colour. If it sort of came in like this apricot-y orangey shade, I would pick it up in another colour. I really did enjoy this. I didn't draw it onto my face. I spoiled my brush in it and then put it on my face. So yeah, I do really like that. That's a good one. Day three was the liquid blush, Blush Bomb Liquid Blush with Vitamin E in the shade Peach Filter. Again, I really liked this. I feel like my expectations were quite low on this because I'd heard not so great things. But I actually quite like it and I do enjoy it. And I would pick it up in other colours yet again. So far the cream blushes have all done pretty well for me. The cream bronzer, the XX Revolution in the shade Inspire. I actually really liked this. I used this twice in two different videos. I did really like it. It's £15, which puts me off, but you also get so much product. I feel like I would repurchase this if I ran out. Powder, I have the Revolution Reloaded Pressed Powder in Translucent. I liked this, I didn't love it. I feel like if I ran out of pressed powder, I would choose to repurchase the Rimmel Stay Matte over this. But this is nice and it will get used, and I accidentally bought two. I don't know if I mentioned that at any point in the videos, but I accidentally bought two of this and two of this by accident. And I did order two of each by accident. It wasn't a mistake on their part, it was a mistake on my part. So I do actually have another one of these. And I will use it, I'll work through it. This will end up in my work bag for touch-ups throughout the day. But I wouldn't choose to repurchase it. But then again, I also think this is only like £2.50, £3.50, something like that. So it's not a bad option if you're looking for a cheap pressed powder. Powder blushes, the Revolution Pro Luster Blusher in Peach. I like this. I truly do, and I will keep using it. However, I wouldn't purchase it in other colours. It's got too much shimmer in it for me. I like that it has a lot of pigment. The orange really comes through, but it has too much shimmer in it. And I don't think I'll get the use out of it. But I do like it and I will use it while I have it. The XX Revolution blush, no idea what it's called, in the shade Entice. This I really did like. It was a lot more pigmented than I was expecting, and I do actually have one of these in another shade, which I'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, I would repurchase this in more shades. I feel like XX Revolution is quite expensive, so maybe that would put me off. But if I saw them on a discount, I would definitely pick up more. I really liked this, it was really good. Powder bronzer, this is the I Heart Revolution Coffee Bronzer in Latte. I said in the video, I'm pretty sure this is their lightest shade and it's very, very dark. It did work fine with a light hand and I was super careful with it. I wouldn't repurchase this unless they had a lighter shade. If they had more of like a goldeny brown pale shade, I would repurchase it. But this isn't a special bronzer, it's absolutely fine, it's matte, it works, it does its job. I just wish it was paler, and I just have other bronzers I prefer, so I wouldn't repurchase this. Highlighter, we have the Revolution Highlighter Reloaded in Golden Light. I actually quite liked this. It reminds me a lot of the, I can't open it. It reminds me a lot of the MUA highlighter in the shade Iridescent Gold, but I really do like that, so it doesn't bother me. I also have a Relove by Revolution highlighter that is very similar, and they're all sort of that like white gold sort of colour. I do like this. I think these are very inexpensive. I have a blush in similar packaging and I feel like that's inexpensive as well. I do like this. I would repurchase it. If they had sort of a pinky tone, I would consider purchasing that as well. Yeah, I quite liked it. I would repurchase it and I would pick up in other colours. I can't remember what this is called, but it's in the shade Bronze Baddie. I actually quite like this. I thought I picked up the lightest shade, and this might be the lightest shade, but if it is, they need lighter shades. Because as much as I like this, it does, you can't really see because the lighting is terrible, I'm so sorry. But it does look quite dark on my skin tone. I did swatch it in the video, I'm pretty sure, that I tested it in, so you can see it there. But yeah, I like this, I would repurchase it, I just wish I had a slightly lighter shade. So if they did a lighter shade, I would repurchase the lighter shade. So overall, it's a pass. I'm doing this really quickly and I recognise that, but it's because I have other things I need to get done this evening and I don't want this video to be too long, I'm sorry. The XX Revolution, I think it's called like the iFix something or other, in the shade Translucent. I actually quite liked this. I'm not a big fan of eye primers that don't have pigment to them. This is obviously translucent. But it actually works really well. I don't know if I would like it if I was doing like a super neutral look, because for those sorts of looks where I'm not packing on loads and loads of colour, I do want my lid to be completely blanked out. So I think for colourful looks this is fine, where I'm fully blowing out and covering up my eyelid. I think this works great, but I think for more everyday it's maybe not my thing. The Revolution Ultimate Eye Base in the shade Light. I didn't like this. It was so dry, and I think it was drying on my eyelids, like it was bringing out dry patches in my eyelids that I didn't recognise and didn't know they were there. By the way, yes, I would repurchase this eye primer. No, I would not repurchase this eye primer. It's just so drying and I feel like the shadows weren't sticking well enough to it. I know it's meant to be a dupe of the P. Louise, and honestly it's put me off buying the P. Louise one because of how dry it just is on my lid. It had really, really good coverage, and I sort of said in the video, if I was doing a completely matte brown look, I would feel better about using it. But yeah, so sort of like what this falls down at, this is really good at. But where this falls down, this is really good. So I wouldn't repurchase this, but I will still use it for just everyday neutral brown looks where I simply just want my lid blanked out. Eyeshadow palettes, day one was this beast. This is the XX Revolution XX Cloud Shadow Palette. I liked the look that I got out of this, however, a bit like with the foundations, this week has sort of made me realise I don't actually like Revolution eyeshadow that much. I used it and I used the other two palettes and they were fine, they looked fine, they worked fine, but I'm just so used to having so much better quality products now. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, you can sort of see them there at the top, that have so much more pigment, so much more like variety of colour. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a lot of variety, but they're all kind of the same shade. Like, they're all gonna give, there are quite a few that are gonna give just like the similar sort of look. The shimmers from Revolution really don't excite me at all. There's a handful of shimmers in this palette that I think interest me. The rest simply don't. I think a lot of the shades are going to look the same on my skin, and I'm super pale. This palette obviously isn't built for darker skin tones. Yeah, I don't know, I think this week has sort of made me realise I don't actually like Revolution palettes that much. I will still use them, it will still get used, it will still be shown on my social medias. But yeah, just not everything I wanted from that palette. The Passion Fruit Fire Shadow palette, I think this is the palette that's honestly going to get the most use going forward. It's a really cute everyday palette. It has shades that I'm going to use. The shimmers are good enough for me to use them every day. I actually quite like this. This was probably the cheapest palette as well. I think it's really good. The mattes all worked well. These two shimmers, well, they're sort of shimmery mattes. I wish they were just mattes, which is another thing that annoyed me about Revolution, is if it's a matte shade, make it a matte shade. If it's not a matte shade, give me glitter. But yeah, I think this palette's going to get quite a lot of use for the everyday for me. And then the third palette I tested was the Revolution Forever Flawless Ice palette. I did really like the look that I got out of this palette. I liked the shades, they worked well, it looks nice. I do think I will use this for every day because it does have a few neutrally shades in there, so I could pick it up and use it for an everyday look. That wouldn't bother me. Again, I wish this was a matte shade. Why is your darkest shade not matte? You know, these things annoy me because I feel like they just don't put enough thought into their palettes. And again, the formula isn't amazing. There's maybe two shimmers in here that I think look interesting, and it's this one and this one, so actually it's none of the blues. Yeah, I did say that I'd heard these palettes that come in tins are better quality than their other palettes. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I feel like they're roughly the same. Maybe the colour schemes have a bit more thought, but other than that, there's no difference. So yeah, I think this week I've just sort of learned that Revolution palettes, first of all, they're not all made equally, and second of all, I don't love them. I do still use them. I have other Revolution palettes that I still use and still enjoy. They're just not the best that's out there anymore. I did try this. This is the Revolution Eye Glisten Foil and Glitter Liquid Eyeshadow. I quite liked this. I was actually pleasantly surprised at this end. So this is like the foil end, I guess, yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. It does look very foily and metallic, and I did say I feel like for me I would use it as a base for a more shimmery eyeshadow. The lighting's terrible, but you can kind of see it. So yeah, I did quite like that. And the glitter end I did quite like. It's not my favourite formula. I prefer them to have less of a base, more of a glitter. But this was fine. And I did say in my video that I would repurchase this in other shades, so it's a pass. Eyeliners, I tested this one, which is the Streamline eyeliner in the shade Yellow. I loved this. I was meant to test this one, which is the exact same thing in silver, but I accidentally broke the tip off it when I was opening it, so I couldn't use it. These are amazing. I think I checked and these are like £3.50. I'm going to pick up a bunch of these in every single colour they have. This is one of my favourite products that I tested this week by far. So yeah, big thumbs up for those. And then this eyeliner, the Liner Pow by Revolution, genuinely just confused me and I ended up not using it. When you first buy it, you have to press the end in and leave it for a bit for the ink to go into the tip, because when I opened it, the tip was just white. And now that I use it, it does look very black. It does look very black and very thin. It is bleeding a little bit, and what I mean by that is when you sort of put eyeliner on, if it sort of spreads out into your like teeny tiny cracks in your skin, which everybody has. But if you're going to put that on your eye and it's going to bleed, it's going to be a mess. And it is bleeding the slightest amount. You probably can't even see it, and I'm not adjusting the camera zoom because it's not that sort of a video. Yeah. I don't know, I will definitely give this a go, but I think the whole idea of you buy it and you have to press it in and wait for it and things like that, annoying. I just want to open an eyeliner and use it. I know that might sound a bit like, woe is me, but I feel like that's the whole point of an eyeliner, right? I need to drink some water because my voice is going. The Mascara Revolution, not a big fan. After hearing Soph rave about it for so long, I thought I was going to love it. I really didn't. The wand shape isn't right for me. It picks up too much product. The formula's a bit too wet. I am hoping that as it dries out a little bit, I will prefer it, but I don't think, even if it dries out a little bit, I'm not going to be to the point where I would repurchase it. So I'm going to say no from me, but I can see why other people like it. The waterproof version, I actually preferred to the original version because it was a bit more dry. And I would wear this to work. It looks fine. Would I repurchase it? Yeah, because I wear waterproof mascaras to work every day, and I feel like this is a pretty decent enough one. On day 2, I also tested the Volume Pink Mascara by Relove by Revolution. This was super fun and super cute. I sort of wish it was a slightly darker pink, and I said that in the video, but this is fun, it's cute. I've got the blue one as well. I'm pretty sure they do a lilac one, but I don't think I'll pick that one up because I don't use lilac enough. I'm trying to think what colours they could do that I would buy. If they did like a red or a green, like a dark green, or even like a bright green, I would repurchase this if they did them in more colours. I just don't think they do. And then the Revolution Extreme Lash Volumizing Mascara. I don't actually think they still sell this. I was looking on their website while I was trying to do stuff last night. I don't think they sell this anymore, but this was probably my favourite mascara that I tested this week. It's got a plastic bristle brush. It's the opposite of an hourglass. It sort of gets fatter in the middle. I love that. I really liked this. I'm almost done with the bits that I tested this week. We have brows. The Balayage Brow Pencil, I think this was called, in the shade Ash Brown, whatever. I liked this. Ash Brown is not my shade. I actually think medium brown might be my shade in Makeup Revolution brow products. I know I said I thought it was ash brown, but turns out I was wrong. I actually quite like this. One end is a skinny brow pencil, the other end is a bit more like the Benefit Goof Proof, and I did really like it. It's just a slightly wrong shade. Would I repurchase this in the correct shade? It would depend on the price. If this was £5 or under, yes. If it's more than £5, probably not. Makeup Revolution brow pomade in medium brown, which I think is a much better shade for me. I really liked this. I sort of already thought that I would. But yeah, I love a brow pomade at the moment just because of how quick and easy it is. I don't think I'd ever get through it, so repurchasing it isn't really in the question. But I think if I lost it or like left it at home in like my grandparents' house, and I couldn't go back and get it, I would repurchase a new one because I did actually really like it. And I have the blonde one from Revolution Pro, and this is a better shade for me. Lipsticks. On day 1, I tested this. It is the Matte Bomb Liquid Lip in the shade Delicate Brown. I quite liked this. It's not my favourite liquid lipstick I've ever tried, but I did quite like it. It worked pretty well. Would I repurchase this in another shade? Yeah, I think I would. I think I would. Although, then on the other side of that, I don't really wear liquid lipsticks that much anymore. So I would maybe pick this up in like a bright red or a bright pink. You know, shades that I wouldn't wear in lipstick form, if that makes sense. I then topped that with this, and this is the Revolution, is it called like the Pout Bomb or something like that? In the shade Mocha Shine. I actually really liked this. I would repurchase this in another shade. I've got like a brown one. If they did like a pink one or a peachy one or a lighter brown one, which they probably do, I would repurchase this in more shades, 100%. Dropped it. But I did really like this. That's a big thumbs up from me. Day 2 was the Revolution Pro Hydro Matte Liquid Lipstick with hyaluronic acid and peptides in the shade Creme Syrup. Again, I actually quite liked this. I think this was a really nice product. I would continue wearing it. I would pick this up in other shades because it is a super hydrating matte liquid lipstick, and I feel like that's not as bad as the standard liquid lipstick, and I can get on board with this. I don't know if they do any other shades that I would like, because I feel like they're all kind of like neutrally shades, natural-ish. So I don't know, but I did really like that, and I would repurchase it in other shades. Sorry if you could hear the ambulance going past. And then finally, oh no, I've got setting sprays to do in a moment. But the final lip product is, I don't know what these are called, but it's in the shade Divine Brown. It's one of their new lipsticks. Love the packaging, think it's super cute. And actually, I really enjoyed the product. It's so creamy, pigmented, worked well. I'm still not sure about the shape. I mentioned in the video, it's sort of a square shape on top. and that is really good for doing straight lines, not very good for getting in the corners or like carving out your upper lip. But I did really like it, and I would 100% repurchase this in other shades. And because it is a bullet lipstick instead of a liquid lipstick, I actually think I'd get a decent amount of use out of it. Setting sprays, I'm just going to talk about them both together because they're pretty much the same. They're both by Relove by Revolution. We have the Power Fix Mist and the Super Matte Fix Mist. I didn't wear any of the makeup all day long, so I don't know how well these did. In terms of like hydrating the skin and bringing some life back, they did something, but not loads. So yeah, I don't know if these were actually any good. And in terms of repurchasing them, yes, they're very cheap, but I would choose to repurchase other setting sprays instead of those, if that makes sense. Like the Barry M Fresh Face. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. There's definitely more that I like, but that's my favourite one at the moment, and I really need to purchase more of it. Now I'm going to move on to the stuff that I haven't tested. This is just being stored in a Beauty Bay box. Obviously, I haven't tested this stuff, so I can't give my actual opinion on it, but it's just based off everything I've tested so far, do I think I'm going to like these? First up, we have the Conceal and Hydrate Foundation. Based off my interaction with the first one, I'm not going to love this, but I will still use it, that's fine. The other blush, which is, oh, it's called the Excess Blush High Pigment Blusher. This one is in the shade Cliché from XX Revolution. Based off my interaction with the first blush, I do think I'm going to like this. It's more of like that burnt orangey shade that I do wear quite often. However, now I know to go in with a super light hand because these are really pigmented. So I'm looking forward to trying that, and I think I will like it. We have the XX Oud Satin Lipstick. I don't know. XX Oud. Right. Satin liquid lipstick in the shade Sequel. I'm going to swatch this because I can swatch stuff. That's fine. Let's have a little look. Ooh, I quite like the shade. It's kind of like a blush brown, so I do think I'll get use out of it. It's a liquid lipstick, so not tons of use, let's be realistic, but I will get a bit of use out of it. I'm looking forward to trying that. The two Makeup Revolution Renaissance Flick Liners, I got the shades black and brown. I have actually tested the black one before, and I imagine I'm going to like these. I've been on the hunt for a brown liquid liner, so I'll probably test this over on TikTok, but I already know I like the black one. The reason I stopped buying it is because they kept drying out really quickly, and I wasn't sure why, but I'm hoping they fixed that. But maybe I'll do a TikTok about it and we can test them out over there. Another one of the powders, again, thoughts have already been said on that one. A lip liner I'm actually quite interested to test. It's in kind of like a red shade. Feels quite creamy. It's a nice shade. I can get on board with that. The Super Dewy liquid blush in the shade You Got Me Blushing. I don't know how I feel about the shade, just because it's very similar to the Fast Face shade. And I did say that wasn't my favourite. I also don't know how I feel about the packaging. I feel like if there's one of the cream blushes I'm going to like the least, it might be this one. But I'll give it a go. I have the Mousse Revolution blush in the shade Blossom Rose Pink. I don't know why I picked this shade. I might like this because I feel like it looks to me like the XX Revolution Cloud blush, and I really did like that, so I'm hoping I'll like this. The Revolution Pro New Neutral Satin Matte Lipstick in the shade Cashmere. I already have this in the shade Velvet and I do like it. I don't wear it loads, but that's because of the shade, so I'm hoping this could become one of my like everyday favourite lipsticks. The Revolution lipstick in the shade Baby. I'm pretty sure this came in like an advent calendar many years ago. I will give it a go eventually. I'm just not too fussed about it. I think this is going to be one of those really cheap formulas that's just a bit rubbish. The XX Revolution Major Matte in the shade Hero. I think I'm going to love the colour. I think the formula is going to be very, very matte. Let's see if I can open it up and swatch it. Ooh, I do love the colour. That is a stunning like raspberry pink. I'm excited for that. But like I said, I do think it's going to be very matte. So, it smells nice. But we'll see how that goes. The Relove by Revolution Water Liner in the shades Double Up. It's like a red and a yellow. I was super excited to try this, and I was meant to test it on the second day of testing, but I was moving house. so I didn't test it because I couldn't be bothered to try and find things that I needed. I will test this. I might do a video on it here on YouTube. I might do a video on like graphic liner in general and test this out. I don't have high hopes. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's so cheap, maybe because it's Makeup Revolution. I just don't think I'm gonna like this. I think it's gonna be super thin, not very opaque, but I am willing to give it a go. We have the XX Revolution Eyeshadow Chemical. Oh no, liquid eyeshadow in the shade Chemical. Let's try and open this up and swatch it. Reminds me a lot of the e.l.f. ones that I actually really like. But I'm hoping it's a bit more of a glitter than a metallic, but I think I'm going to be disappointed. My hand is just going to be covered in swatches. These are tiny. These are way smaller than the e.l.f. ones. Okay, I like the doe foot. It's sort of like angled and kind of cute. Oh, that is a gorgeous greeny gold. It does have glitter. It does look nice when it hits the light, but it is more of a metallic, unfortunately. But that's fine. Relove by Revolution shadow palette in the shade Express. I already have one of these, can't remember what shade it's in, but I love it. It's the cool toned brown one. I absolutely love it, so I'm very excited to try this. These are very inexpensive. The only issue I have with this palette is there does look to only be two mattes, and it's dark brown and dark green. What am I meant to do with that? I sort of wish they'd made like this, for me, skin tone shade matte. I feel like that would have helped. But I will give this a go. I'll just have to use it with another palette. It won't work by itself, and I feel like that's a bit mean to try and make it work by itself. But yeah, I'm actually excited for that. I really do like the other one that I have. The Makeup Revolution Forever Flawless Allure eyeshadow palette. Yep. I don't know about this one. I'm hoping this will become like an everyday palette I can use because it is very just like neutrally browns with a few blush tones in there. The shimmers look interesting, especially these like speckled ones. They look like they could be good. So I'm excited to try this. I might actually do a video on this over on my TikTok because I am on the hunt for the perfect everyday neutral palette. And then finally in this box we have the XX Revolution Bitter Peach Luxe eyeshadow palette. Oh, I should have swatched the Allure palette. Oh well, I'll swatch this one because I'm in a bit of a rush. Okay, I'm going to have to take the tape off it. So I have Makeup Revolution, you annoy me. They've put the names on the sheet of paper, not on the palette. I'm not keeping that sheet of paper, so that's useless. But what I will say is the mattes look really nice. I'm going to swatch two mattes and two shimmers. I've picked two of the more interesting shimmers. You can't see them. I actually think they look really nice. I really love peachy blush, like this sort of shade or this sort of shade blush. I think this palette would be perfect for those sorts of days. The shimmers look fine. They don't look exciting. Even the two that I swatched, this one and this one, I picked them because they looked more exciting. They actually don't when I swatch them. They look fine. I think this could become a good everyday palette. I will just pair it with other shimmers from elsewhere. There we go. My battery is flashing at me, so if I sped up even more at the end, that's why. But there we go. Those are all of the products that I have bought in the haul that you saw at the start of the week, and my thoughts on them / my like expectations of them. To quickly talk about Makeup Revolution, I think Makeup Revolution used to be a super trendy brand that brought out really good products at really good prices. I don't think it's quite that anymore. I think a lot of times they are copying trends, and they did start out as a duping brand, I'm pretty sure, a bit like W7, but I kind of wish they did some more stuff that's individual to them, like the passion fruit palette I actually really liked, and I've not seen that as a dupe of anything. I do think they have some really good products. I've said before, but the brand Relove by Revolution is super inexpensive, and I think they should put more effort into making that accessible to everyone, especially given the economic situation in the world right now. And I think that's the problem. I get frustrated with Makeup Revolution because they have such a good following, such a cult following. People love them. People did love them for many years, but for some reason it's just all slipped away from them, and I kind of wish they built back up some of that trust and momentum. There were some issues with the owner, but I'm pretty sure he stepped down now. I'm not sure. Something happened, but I don't think he's quite as associated as he used to be. I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about that. I didn't research it beforehand. I probably should have done. And I'm also sorry that my voice is going. But yeah, I feel like with Makeup Revolution, it used to be such a staple brand that everyone loved. You couldn't watch a YouTube video without there being a Revolution product in there. And I kind of wish they just spent a bit more time, put a bit more thought into their products, because they release products on the daily. They're a bit like Colourpop in that way. I sort of wish they'd sort of rein that in a little bit and actually focus on producing good quality products that people enjoy and like. And I will say, the two products that are in here that are most recently released is the lipstick that I really liked and the highlighter that I really liked. So maybe they are trying to do that. We will see. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm going to go because the flashing battery sign stresses me out and I need to do other things this evening. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you liked my content, please consider subscribing. It's completely free. The button is just down below. There is one more video coming in Makeup Revolution week, and that will be tomorrow's video where I discuss all the products that I already owned from Makeup Revolution and my thoughts on them. However, that video was filmed in my old house a few days ago. So it'll be like going back in time. But anyway, I need to go and do things. I really hope you have a great day and amazing week. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on Makeup Revolution. Let me know your thoughts on Revolution Week, what I've done this week. Let me know which was your favourite testing video. Anything like that. Just drop me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. But other than that, I'll let you go. Have a great day and amazing week. And I will see you tomorrow for the final Makeup Revolution Week video. Have a great evening. Bye.